Hi, this video will show you how to take your floor plan and make your 4 elevations. One of the grade sheets, the top one, says to label the elevations as front and right, and then rear and left. But when you actually put them on the paper, don't put them on front and left. You scroll down here, you can see that I have the front and the rear on one elevation, on one paper, and then you would put the right and the left on another. So don't do a front and right, do a front and rear, and then a right and left. So how do we get that onto our paper if that's what we have? You have to first go down to one of the 4 elevations, north, south, east, or west. So I'll just pick the first one here and go to east, and make sure that the scale is set to what the grade sheet wants it, 1/4 inch equals a foot. So we have to change this to 1/4 inch equals a foot. These are on my plan already because I have some other elevations on there, so I don't want to see them. So all I do is touch them and I hide that category. These could be used, but they get kind of messy. You can't always see these, and the numbers we don't need to see. So what I will suggest to do here now is before you start putting all your dimensions on, we're going to hide these. But first we're going to make this into a black and white drawing. So we're going to come down here, click on the visual style, and change it to hidden line. So now it's black and white. It just prints out a whole lot better. So that'll be the first thing to do. Second is we need to put lines over top of these because we still need lines, but we're just going to use a detail line. So under the annotate, so you might have been over here on architecture, you go to annotate, the detail line, make sure you're on the line right up here, and then just click on this somewhere about there and go to somewhere about there. We can always make it longer if we want to. Then we'll hit escape and go to the next line and come over here about the same length. Hit escape, the next line, come out here, click, hit escape, the next line. Oops, not what I missed. The line, so there and there. Now, I'm going to hit escape 3 times. Now I don't want to see these anymore. So I'm going to touch one of them, right click, and come up to hide and view the category because I don't want to see any of those. If I hide just the element, just that one's going to go away, but the category will be any line that looks like that on this page only will be hidden. So now those are hidden, and I know that that's my ceiling, my floor, the top of the foundation, and the basement floor. So I'm going to have to put some text that say that on there. So you come back up to the text tool, and I won't put all of these on, but you'll get the idea. You just go to that letter A right there, make a text block, and it should be on 1/8 city blueprint, and you're going to call this in all caps. Scroll in here so you can see it. And then I could make another one. And you would make that one top of foundation and top of basement floor. So that's the dimensions you need there, or excuse me, the words you need there. I need, this is the east, so this would be the right side of the building. So I need that to say right side. so that when I put it over into the title block, it actually says right side. And now it says on the grade sheet, show the two elevations, front and right, on one page. But remember, do a front and rear on one page, and then a right and left on another page. Show all the walls, windows, doors, roof, indicate roof slope, and show window glass symbol. So I have the walls, I have my foundation walls, I've got my footer, I've got my roof up here, but I don't have a roof slope. That is pretty easy to do. It's just rise over run. And we come to annotate and do a detail line. It's a line. So we don't need it very big, but we want it close to the roof. We're going to make a line come out that way and come down. That doesn't need to be huge. Now I'm going to come back to annotate and put a text there. And I believe this is probably a 9/12, looking how steep that is. Remember, the run is always 12. And then I can move that number over. So I can center that up. And then I want to go get another text. Put a 9 there. And probably want to move that up. So there's a 9/12 slope. So that, and this one's a little low. See how it's, it had the line in there. Oops. Cancel that. It was hitting that and deleting part of that line. So there's my 9, there's my 12. That would be the roof slope. The window glass symbol is nothing more than 3 lines right here. One in the top left corner, one in the bottom left corner. You can see that the window goes above, up underneath that roof because of the roof overhang. So we're going to put the 3 lines right about here. And it's just a detail line. The 3 lines, if I get really close, it's kind of a long, kind of at an angle for the first one. So then, oops, detail line, a shorter one, and then a longer one again. So that is windows. So you can kind of see when I scroll out, it's kind of pretending like it's a little reflection of the light. So what I want to do now is just copy and paste that on every window I have. So I would grab that and I would copy that. So Control C, and I come down here, Control V, and I can, I got something else behind it. I've got something back there. So I only want to copy these 3 lines. There we go. Control C. Control V. Move that over a little bit. And then I can come up here, Control V. And move that one over. And so forth. So you would do that on all your windows. So that would be your glass. And then it asks that you label all the things. So I would label up here shingles. But when I change this to hidden line, I don't see the shingles anymore. So to show shingles, I'm going to have to do a detail line and just put on some lines. just like that. I'd put a few more on there, but then I would come in here and annotate this and say asphalt shingles. And if you want that all one line, you would come back in here and touch it. Just make your text block longer. So you can have that in there. If you don't like it right there, you can move your text around so it's a little more visible. And then I would put on here brick. So if I did this, put my you can see that it kind of takes out the brick right where my text is. And you might have wood or something like that on there. So that would be what you've got going there. This would be foundation, wall, concrete, things like that. So one of the things it shows on the grade sheet is all the lines below the ground level. That would be this foundation and footer have to be hidden. In this model, you don't have to. We just don't have the time to go about changing all of these to hidden lines. But we do need to know where the ground line is. The ground line has to be shown 8 inches below the top of the foundation. So here's the top of the foundation. So we need a ground line that's 8 inches below that. In order to do that, we have to come to annotate and do a line down 8 inches. So I know exactly where 8 inches is. There's 8 inches. That line, I can delete that one now. That line will be where my ground is. You always want to have your ground 8 inches below the top of the foundation. If you don't, what's going to happen is it's going to rain, water will build up, get up here into the sill plate of your house, and then drip out here into your basement. I actually had my sister-in-law out in Portland, Oregon, where it rains all of the time. She had a lot of water in her basement crawl space area, and it's because this ground line was about 1 inch or so below the top of that foundation there, and when it would rain, a lot of water would come against the house, come up underneath the house, and just come in. So I had to kind of trench around the house to get rid of a lot of the dirt, and then kind of put a little pipe in there to take that out. So this one would be labeled ground line. And then we need to start dimensioning those. So one of the last ones on that first page of the grade sheet, it says dimension the heights. So we come to a line, and I would measure from here to here and do that. There's my 8 inches. And then I would have a label here for ground line, and I would have a label here for top of foundation. Then it wants the top of the footer to the bottom of the first floor. So here's the top of the footer to the bottom of the first floor. There. And you want to kind of keep that so it's not underneath all your text. You can put your text out here. You can put your dimensions out there. So we're just going to put that one there, and then our second dimension is going to be right here from this line to that line, and keep these two right in line with each other. So we wouldn't want to have this one way out here. We want to keep these two right in line with each other. And then if we look at the big grade sheet on the back, you will just want to make sure that you're showing the footer, foundation, ground line, finished floor line, ceiling line, dimensions, that's what we just did there, and roof pitch symbol on all 4 views. So I'm not quite finished with this one, but that gives you a pretty good idea of how to finish it. I have some text I have to put on here. I've got a little bit of text in here to put on there. But what you want at the end then is to put this onto a title block.